Okay, before we get going here, I think it's important that we all, very thankful for all the people that worked the game, right, that made the game happen today. It's certainly been a tough week for a lot of people in our state. And we appreciate all the workers that showed up today and, we're able to work through some logistics there and make the game happen. I think for our team, there's some opportunity to learn here, right, relative to perspective and being thankful for what we do have, right? And I think as an organization and for our players, over the next couple of months, we're going to have an opportunity to help a lot of people. We're certainly going to do that. Today we emphasized investing and contributing to a couple key funds. I know Red Cross, Volunteer Florida, and certainly Ada Gator. Those are three websites in particular that we encourage people to contribute to. Those going directly to all the people maybe that are in a tough spot. So our thoughts and prayers are with those people. The game today, I think I was pleased to see us start fast in the game. I think our defense early kind of bent but didn't break. We forced a field goal in the red area, got off the field on fourth down. Although they moved the ball a little bit at times today, I thought overall offensively able to answer, and I thought we were pretty sharp. I thought we had our best we could practice, offensively in particular. So sometimes the opponent doesn't matter, right? I think it's about your urgency, your focus, your intensity. I thought our detail was better. We threw and caught the ball in practice this week better, and I think that showed up on game day. So, we say to the players all the time, practice performance equals game day reality. And I thought we saw a little bit of that today. The second half, obviously a handful of things to clean up there. And I think there's a lot of young players that got a chance to play for the first time today. Jalen Kitna would be a prime example of a guy that I thought, first time between the lines, really did a lot of good things. And there's a number of other young freshmen that played. So a lot of growth there. And, we're going to make the most of this learning experience, and then we're going to turn the page pretty quick here and get ready for an SEC East opponent. What questions do we have?
We'll start with Mark.
Yeah, Coach. What do you really take out of it other than, the victory and you come out pretty healthy, but do you feel like you gained something out of it?
Yeah, no, I think we played clean, offensively in particular. I think when we watch the tape, we'll see a little bit more, but, just the maturity to, think about what you're walking into here, right? Sunday, 12 noon, FCS opponent on the other side of the country. Do you have enough maturity to show up and play fast and physical early and execute at a high level? And I thought we did that, right? So, these games are beneficial in a lot of ways, and to see us take advantage, I think was important.
Yeah, a couple real quick, Billy. First, you mentioned Jalen Kitna. Did you feel like he's capable in relief?
Yeah, no, I did. And I'm going to tell you, the last probably 2 weeks, right, he's really grown up a lot. If you go back to training camp, probably the fourth or fifth day of training camp, he got injured, right? So he missed significant time. But since Jack's injury and he started getting those twos, you've seen some growth there. And all the guy does is throw completions in practice, and that's what he did today. So 2 Thursdays ago, he was 100% completion percentage in a practice. I don't know if that's ever been done. So guy's a really smart player. He's learned our system, and, for the most part, ball went where it was supposed to go today.
You mentioned defense. Still seems a lot of kind of chunk plays happening. What do you attribute that to, and how do you guys kind of clean those up and eliminate some of those?
We got work to do. I think, today we did what we needed to do, get them off the field, right? So we got through the opening script, and then after that we settled down and played pretty good, I thought. But Eastern Washington, credit them. They had a good opening script there. They moved the ball. I think we're going to see that we could have done some things better, play with better leverage, play with better a little tighter coverage, a little bit better gap integrity at times. But, I think that, we're very much a work in progress there, right? And I think a lot of guys got really good experience today that I think will be beneficial for the future.
You're big into routine, and playing on a Sunday kind of throws the routine off a bit. How do you get these guys back into a routine this week with an SEC opponent coming up?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And we've spent time. One of the valuable things about the experience at Louisiana is we played in about every turnaround possible, right? I mean, last year we had 2 5-day turnarounds. We had a 6, we had 8, we had a 17 one time. I mean, so we've had a number of different scenarios because of the midweek games. So we've got a lot of templates that we've used throughout the last couple of years. So we're going to lean on that a little bit. And tomorrow will be a combination of a Sunday and Monday relative to the players and the staff. And then we've got a plan for Tuesday, and then we'll kind of settle in later in the week. But, we're able to take advantage of Thursday last week as a staff. We gave the players completely off per NCAA rules, and then we focused as a staff on Missouri that day. So I think from a time standpoint, we'll end up right where we need to be.
Zach?
Coach, how do you feel like Anthony played today, especially starting off the game with that big bomb?
No, he did a great job today, and he showed, Anthony's a product of his work, right? I think you're seeing a guy who's settling in a little bit, right? He's starting to come, he's getting more familiar with what his routine should look like. What does my Monday look like, right? What does my Wednesday look like? And I think just taking a true professional approach to the preparation part relative to when I watch the cut-ups, both situationally, down and distance, field zone. How do I get familiar with the opponent early in the week prior to a Tuesday practice, and then physically how to take care of himself, right? And then, I think as you gain experience, you start to settle down a little bit. That's the big difference, I would say, is that, he's less anxious. Those first couple of weeks, he was, he may have looked calm, cool, and collected, but that heart was beating in there, So I think he's getting more comfortable with his role, and certainly, the direction of our team, we're going to give him an opportunity to do what he can do.
And then Jalen came in today probably expecting to play in the second half. Maybe didn't expect to play in that first half when he had to come off the bench for Anthony. How do you feel like he did in that situation and completing that big pass to Ricky?
Yeah, no, he did a great job. Again, and I would say in the last couple of weeks I've become more comfortable with him as a player because I'm seeing him, grow up in the practice setting. You get 1 million reps as a 2 in our way we do it, right? So he's a smart kid. He takes a lot of pride in his role. And, again, all he does is throw completions.
Yeah. Even though you've seen Jalen in practice and looking good, how much easier will you sleep tonight knowing that you really have a number 2 now who's gone out there and functioned well in an actual game?
Yeah, let's be careful here, okay? We've been through this one time before, I think, right? The guy completed some balls today. He also made a few mistakes today too, right? So the beautiful thing about today is he got to play, right? So he's going to have more confidence, right? He's going to be able to learn from his experience. He's going to realize that the work he's been doing, paid off, right? So he'll go back and go harder and continue in that direction. So, proud of Jalen. He stepped up in a major way for our team.
Kevin?
Yeah, Coach, I'm curious if either you or someone in your staff watched the Missouri-Georgia game last night, and how much does that get your attention going into this week, what they did and played in the wire?
Yeah, we'll turn the page. We'll have an opportunity to talk to you guys Wednesday about Missouri. We're going to enjoy this thing tonight. We'll wake up in the morning and start on Missouri.
Coach, obviously first play hit him with the bomb for the touchdown. How long was it in terms of how long you was scripted in there? Was it a last second thing, or did you plan it out days ahead?
About Thursday, we start kind of working on, kind of our opening script, if that makes sense, much like most coaches do, right? I think, so we went with that play. That's a play we've carried for a couple of weeks now, and it's really looked good in practice, and the coverage variables fit this week. So Anthony likes it, and got two good receivers running routes there. So good protection and certainly a good route. It's great to see Shorter continue to kind of perform at a high level. I think, he's developing nicely.
Back to David here.
About this week and the distractions and hurricane, were there any players or any group of players particularly affected by that from that area down there that you had concerns
Yeah,
about?
I don't know that there's anything, relative to some of the real issues that are out there,
But as far as families down there or something
Yeah, I
like
don't
that?
know that we have anything that's just relative to some of the things that we've seen. So I think it's very relatively minor, simple things that we'll get involved with and be able to help with.
Back to Zach.
Billy, the touchdown run by Ricky, that play design there, how happy were you to see that executed, and what does he do kind of bringing that to the offense?
Yeah, no, it was really, I think, well executed. That was 2 years ago in the NFL, that concept, went rampant, and a lot of teams were running it. It's one that we've had in the chamber a little bit. Coach Sell brought that idea to the table, having been in the National Football League, and worked well, very well executed play. And certainly Odom had a really, really good key block there at the point of attack. Ricky set it up. It's good to have a player that's got enough speed to finish, and certainly he showed that.
And then what'd you see on the interception from Anthony, and how is that something to just go back and work on him with this week?
Yeah, no, I think it's healthy. It's hard to say that you're actually happy a guy throws an interception, but I think it'll be good for him to realize, hey, look, I played a whole half. I did exactly what I was supposed to do, and then first played the second half, I forced the ball. There's a progression there, and the outlet is open there, so he'll be sick in his stomach when he sees it on tape for sure.
Time for a few more. We'll go to Jacob.
Caleb Douglas had the long touchdown in the third quarter. What have you seen from him in practices recently? I know you mentioned him in the preseason as somebody that made a lot of strides.
Yeah, no, Caleb, his nickname is Payday, right? And Caleb's one of these young players that we're really excited about, right? He's a former quarterback, right? As a sophomore, started playing receiver as a junior. He was actually on our board early at Louisiana, and then he obviously exploded in his senior year, played really good as a receiver. But I'm going to tell you, I think Caleb's best football is in front of him. I mean, he gets better every day out there, right? And you see the tools. He's 6'3" and change. He's a 200-pound guy that can really run. Good route and a great throw. So good young player that we're hopeful will continue to develop.
Go to Zach Goodall.
I think Sean mentioned in the broadcast that it was at least 71 players that ended up getting in. Long term, when it comes to depth building, how important was that to you?
Yeah, no, it's a big deal, man. We need, these are opportunities that you need to. That's the good thing about today is we did what we needed to do so we could do that, right? So I think 17 players touched the ball today on offense or something like that. So a lot of young players out there, and then some veteran players that have been around here for a while that got opportunities, and I think that's healthy for your locker room, and certainly, be beneficial this coming week.
Go to Zach on learning, then we'll finish with
Just want to get your thoughts on Lorenzo's performance today and just his opportunity to get in the game and score.
Yeah, no, Lorenzo's a hard-working guy, a guy that is in a very competitive room. He's one of the guys that I'm talking about. I think it's gratifying as a coach that guys like him and a number of other players get an opportunity to go play. So Lorenzo is a good human being. He works extremely hard, and it's certainly good to see him get out there and have some production today.
finish with Edgar.
Billy, how do you think Justice responded to his increased role on defense, and just in general, your philosophy on, shuffling some new guys in there if maybe someone's not meeting the standard?
I don't necessarily know that it's, Princely, I wouldn't paint the picture that way. I think we just got two really young players there that it's competitive. Who goes out there first? I think we played them 1-1 today. So just, Boone had played a little bit better, but, I think it's more a compliment to Boone than it is negative, for some of the other players, right? It was just a little bit better as of late, but I think competition's healthy for anybody. And certainly Boone was deserving, right? So, but we still, I think we're 1-1 in terms of rotation. It was just more about who went out there first.
But just how he handled the opportunity, and just guys in general. I mean, you said competition's healthy. I'm not trying to disparage another player, but that is a thing. Guys want to start.
That's right. I agree. And, Boone's a guy, man, that has come a long way. I mean, he didn't play it. I don't think he's played prior to this season, right? So, he's a good young player that's got some height and length to him. I think more importantly, the thing I respect about Boone is it's important to him, right? Football is important to him. Doing his job for the team is important to him. He's got some passion about him, and he's a good practice player, right? So, he's a good young player that we hope continues to develop. Games like today will be valuable for his role going forward.
I was looking at your history a little, like playing non-FCS schools. I mean, it wasn't quite going to the swamp. I mean, I think you played Vanderbilt and Wyoming. I was looking.
Yeah, I'm trying to forget those. Trying to forget those.
Yeah, cold and high altitude in Wyoming. But what is that opportunity for like Eastern Washington? They're in the stands taking pictures. I mean,
Right.
It seems like an experience that some of these young men won't forget.
I've got a lot of respect for that level of football. When I think about FCS, even Group of Five to some degree, right? A large percentage of the players that are on those teams, they're playing because they love to play, right? I mean, large percentage of those guys, they're not going to the National Football League. They're playing football because they love the game, right? And I think that's the thing I respect, right? And, Eastern Washington is, in the last 5, 6, 7 years has proved to be one of the best programs in FCS. So the playoff model, back when I played, I think we had 16 teams. I think they got a few more than that now. But, it's a unique deal, and the best thing about it is you got a bunch of guys that are playing football because they love to play the game.